Hi, welcome to Spirit World Insights. I'm Jackie, and today I'm doing an impromptu video on a topic that has come up in the past 3 or 4 days from 2 different people just like yourselves. And when things like that happen, I feel like it's important to actually gather the information from Spirit and allow you guys to have the tools and techniques necessary in order to help you during that time. So I'm not going to wait until Saturday to actually post this video. I'm going to go ahead and post it today. Okay. So we are talking about the topic of bad dreams. When I asked my spirit guides who would be most helpful in helping me to interpret and understand the concept, especially of the 2 people that asked me for help, I was like, okay, who do I need to talk to? And they said Merlin, which I'm super excited about. He always makes me feel incredibly light and glittery inside. Merlin and I go way back. Every time we get together, it's just like meeting with an old friend. So I'm super happy that I'm connecting with him today. So he's with me now. And the first thing that he wants to talk about is the fact that he wants to discuss 2 different types of dreams. It's not saying that there's only 2 types of dreams that can be bad or negative, but he's going to talk about 2 different ones. Okay. He says it is important to remember that when you have bad dreams, it is because it is bringing through information through a scenario that will reveal something that fear is being challenged within your human vessel. Okay. So one of those types is when you have a bad dream that it's not challenging your free will, it's just telling you about something within your vessel that is ready to be healed that you need to be aware of, or it's asking permission for that healing because there needs to be some type of mind, body, soul connection to what is being healed. And so you might have something like a spider come in or something that you're terrified of in order to get your attention, but then that thing you're terrified of is going to reveal the information of what is actually in disharmony or out of sync within your vessel that's asking for you to help bring about the healing. Okay, that's one type. And that usually doesn't involve guns or fighting or anything like that. It's more about using symbolic images of fear around, again, like fears and phobias. There's no fighting involved. It's just, let me bring it into your awareness and grab your attention really quick. Okay, so that's one type. The second type, he says, is a manifestation of egregores that manifest dream scenarios through collective fears. Okay, this is going to be about fighting. It might involve weapons, guns, swords, things like that. It is where your free will feel challenged. You will feel threatened in these types of videos. So I am going to talk a little bit deeper because you may not have heard the term egregore before. So let's talk about the difference between a demon and an egregore. So a demon is an entity. It's something that has a spirit consciousness connected to it. Okay, it has free will choice, that it says, I'm going to play the demon role right now. I'm going to take this perspective in order to bring the experience through of whatever it is that the soul contracts involved are seeking. An egregore, however, is something that humans have developed over time. It is where we take our free will consciousness that might be affected by fear, and it turns into a live consciousness that can even begin to take on form. So it's like, imagine if you have an entire city that everyone is afraid of something. That fear of that thing that it's afraid of can take on its own consciousness and at some point even almost create a density around it. Usually egregores come in as kind of like a black blob or just a shadowy type of blob, and it might have tentacles around it. It's not, again, a person or an entity. It's a blob. It's like goo. But our fears can begin to manifest into these conscious blobs, and they hold a specific frequency, just like a radio dial. If you have a radio dial and you tune into a certain frequency, you can tune into a station that specific egregores are prominent in, fears are prominent in, and you can tune into that vibration. So that's what an egregore is. So again, they're manifesting through dream scenarios. These fears are manifesting through dream scenarios, parts of your collective fears. Okay. So, so the question that I asked Merlin was, okay, the egregores, are they targeting specific people at a specific time? In other words, is there a malicious intent coming from an outside force that is affecting specific people at specific times, like with intent or with hacking, so to say? And Merlin said no. He said that it is happening when an individual person is triggered by a fear that holds that same vibration or station of the egregore, okay? Just like the radio station, you're tuning into it. He said that when you're having bad dreams, especially around like fighting with weapons and things like that, or feeling as though there's mass people being threatened by outside forces, he said that it is on a frequency station of threat. Okay, that's the topic of that specific egregore and that specific manifestation. He says, when you feel threatened from an outside force, whether it be people, emotions, experiences that you have with loved ones, work, whatever, when you feel threatened by something, you unconsciously can join that station or frequency of the egregore. And then he said, if the body wants to process and heal from that specific type of threat, then the dream creates the insight to it, okay? And then I said, does the dream create the process for the healing to happen? Like, would it happen automatically in order for the healing to take place? And he said, yes, it does happen automatically, especially when the body, the mind, and the soul are all in alignment for something to be processed. It will happen automatically. It's not like you have to go back in and revisit the dream and try to figure it all out. He said, but the other situation is when you have a dream like that does reoccur, whether it's the same situation with the same people, or if it's not with the same location and the same people, but the same scenario. He said that type of stuff happens, and this is so interesting. So interesting. Because I've been interpreting dreams for a really long time. Totally love helping people do that, but this I'd never heard before. This was so cool. Okay. He said when they reoccur, that's when the body needs permission to actually let go of the threat or the egregore, okay? Your dream is going to create, again, the scenario for you to see and recognize what is asking to be healed. And then you have to accept in order for the healing process to be completed. He says at that point, you want to start looking deeper into the symbolism in order to gather more information. You would ask yourself questions like, who is in the dream? Okay, is it just you, or are there other people? What's the location? Are there any tools, items, etc. that are in the dream that stand out? The other thing he says is if you wake up and you know that the dream was long and extensive, he says only think about what your mind is pulling out in that moment as being important. Because some of the people that I was talking to were saying, well, actually both of them said this. They were like, there was more stuff, but I don't remember. This is what I remember. And it's like, go with that. Merlin says, go with what you remember when you wake up, because again, your body is creating all of this so that you can heal something, okay? And he's also bringing through at this time, it's so important to understand that we live in a world of duality. The good and the bad work together in order to help us heal all the time. Even though it's something bad, it's just showing you what's out of alignment. There's no reason to fear, to run, to hide. You don't need to do that with anything. It's always pointing you in the direction of where you need to focus your attention for healing, okay? And so then I asked him questions like, why is this happening now? Are there other outside, kind of similar to the other question, you know, are there outside influences or anything like that coming in from the environment in order to prompt this kind of thing to happen right now? Like, say, 5G or radiation or chemtrails, or, you know, is there stuff like that that is prompting these egregores to actually be more intense right now? And he said, again, no. He says this is just a part of the ascension time per individual. That if it's your time to heal something on that level, then you can tap into the essence of awareness on a level that will get your attention in a 3D aspect in order for you to understand what is ready to be processed. Okay, he says to also keep in mind that if you are looking at a repetitive type of dream, or a dream that seems to be intense enough that you really want to kind of do a little bit of digging in order to find out a little bit more about it, he says, remember that most of the time it needs to be from your perspective. Even though you've got other people in the dream, you're typically not dreaming about them, you're dreaming about you, okay? How your relationship is with them, how you envision the other person's perspective. Because we put our perspective on other people all the time. I have clients that do that all the time. I'll be like, well, why don't you tell so-and-so about me? They ought to call me. Oh, no, they would never be into you. That's putting your own egoic perspective on another person. And we really don't need to be doing that, because ultimately we don't know what another person is thinking, feeling, acting, etc. But yet your mind, if there's something that needs to be healed about that perspective you have of that person, this is a great way to bring it in through a dream in order for you to see these perspectives in order to try to heal that. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to keep this super generic, because hopefully this will help you to see a little bit with more ease on what this could possibly look like. So the scenario would be like, say you're at home, okay? In the dream, you're at home. If you're at home, then you are talking about being at home within this vessel, this spirit, this vessel that you call yours. If you are in a dream where it's somebody else's home, a brother, an aunt, a grandparent, anything like that, then you are talking about their vessel from your perspective, not theirs, yours, okay? All right, and then say you're surrounded by negative people, and do any of them stand out? And if they don't, it's just the collective, okay? By negative people, say with guns, okay? And they are threatening the home, which is the vessel. Or if you're in somebody else's home, then you think that they're invading or threatening the other person's vessel, okay, or home. Okay, and then you're trying to call for help. Say you're trying to call for help, say you're trying to escape, you're trying to get out, you're trying to move. This is all your action. What are you doing from your perspective in order to, again, bring the healing in, bring the harmony back in? Are you trying to make a phone call? Are you calling with prayer and intentions? Are you trying to escape by hiding or ignoring or numbing something that is not really going on? These are the types of questions you would ask when you're thinking about something like that. Okay, let me see. Okay, and what Merlin was saying was that your dream is validating at that point that your call or your intention, your prayer is being heard, okay? So again, if it's just a one-time dream and you never seem to have it again, know that whatever you feel is being threatened upon you has been heard. If you're calling something out, it's actually stating, yes, it's been heard and the healing process is beginning. Now, when a healing process is beginning, Merlin says that what it does is it initiates that manifestation to begin. So when you accept that, then what happens is things will start to happen in your life that then begin that healing process. It may not be something that happens without you even knowing. You might actually have actual events, situations, conversations, etc. that start coming in that let you know that, yeah, the healing of this relationship or the healing between our perspectives is actually being healed now, okay? And then the other thing that he wants me to talk about is the fact that some of you might be thinking, no, I'm pretty sure that what I saw was a premonition. So let's talk about the difference of that. So a premonition is you, okay, well, hang on. Yeah, okay, thanks. He's reminding me that when you have a dream, your subconscious, your higher self, your angels, your guides, they are utilizing information that's already stored in your mind, okay, in this vessel. It's something from an experience that you have had that it can pull these images from that you are familiar with. And that's why when you do dream interpretation, you don't ask, you don't look at something literally, typically, you look at it symbolically. What does that image represent to me? Okay? What does that image represent to me? Even if it's a person, it may not have anything to do with that person. It might have to do with what does that person mean to you? Okay? Two totally different perspectives. So when your dreams are giving you these images and you're asking symbolically what they mean to you, he says in a premonition, you're not getting information based off of what you have stored. You're getting information from outside. So you're not gonna recognize the location. It's not gonna be a house that you're familiar with. It's not going to be a location that you've ever seen before. Do you see what I mean by that? You won't recognize the symbols when it's a premonition. So if you're seeing locations that you've never been to before and that you've never even recognized in past lives, then what will happen is you will possibly be picking up on a premonition of either something that's happening right now or something that's happening in the near future, or something that you might even be from, say you're a light worker or a star seed that you're astral traveling to and you're helping out in that situation. And you're just getting a clarification that you're working while you're sleeping, which a lot of us end up doing, especially those of us that are earth keepers of some type of sort, right? Okay, so that would be Merlin's suggestion on understanding the difference between, You know, are you having a dream that's telling you something? Is it a bad dream about something that's happening within this vessel that's saying, I'm out of alignment, I need to be healed, I'm ready to be healed, here's the information. Ask questions. Always ask questions in your dreams. Don't just run and hide. It always has something to say. And usually whatever it is going to change form. It might come out like, say, as a spider or some darkness, but then as soon as you ask the question, what do you want to tell me? It will change form. It will change form into something that is non-threatening, and it will give you the information, okay? So you've got that, and then you've got this egregoric, collective emotional fears that are also being triggered by something in your environment that's ready to be healed, letting you know through a dream. Just remember that it's from your perspective, and it could be from someone else's perspective if you're dreaming about other people, or it could be your perspective of that person and what that person means to you. Hopefully that's not too confusing. And then again, the premonitions, if it's something that you completely have no idea about. Okay, so that's what Merlin wanted to share with you guys. I hope that if this is something that you've been experiencing yourself, I hope that this video and these insights that Merlin has given us is going to be helpful. He's like, if you guys want to go deeper, you know, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to help, even through emails. I get a lot of people that will email inquiries through me, and I do those as well. I think you can see all of that information on my website at clearvibration.com, how I charge for things like that and for consult sessions. So yeah, Merlin's like, we're here to help. We are. So fun. All right, you guys. So no reason to lose sleep over it. It's about just digging a little bit deeper and always asking questions. All right. Thanks, Merlin. Thanks for being here. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. If you know someone else that might be able to utilize this video in order to help them, please make sure you share it. Okay. Have a good day. Till next time. Bye.